Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another BJ & Co. Rimworld guide video for you. Today we are back and we are going to show you a little bit about food, because you don't want to starve when you're out on your Rimworld. This is a continuation of our series. We've done two, one about selecting colonists and one about building your first shelter. Kind of the first two things you need to do to get ready. So now we're going on to some of the more important things for long-term sustainability. If you want to see those, there are some links on screen for you. But food! Food. There are a couple of sources of food in this game. There's basically vegetables and meat. And then prepared meals, which we can go through as well. So with meat, you can get from animals on the map. There are some you can tame animals and keep them, and then you're able to slaughter them for meat if you need. You can set up some very cool farming operations that way. There are also wild animals around, which you have two options. You can tame to then make them part of your farm, or you can hunt them to kill them. So the first thing I'm going to do is, to get some meat going, I want to hunt these two guys. Also, for the purposes of this video, we are going to throw in a stockpile zone into here, and this one is going to be set up to allow foods. Should just be, yeah, foods. And corpses, I want animal corpses as well. So I will let this run a little bit, and we'll see. Lumi is going out to go hunt our first tortoise. I think tortoise. Don't know why she ran so far away. And so you'll see there, she will just go take some shots, kill some of my guys, which is freaking hilarious. The shooting is so interesting in this game. So she'll get that eventually. And you'll see she'll take the corpse inside when you get there. In terms of vegetables, there is raspberry bushes around. Now these ones you can harvest. Oh. So you'll see Lumi brought the corpse inside. We'll talk a little bit about that in a bit. So here Grub is harvesting this one raspberry plant that we've got. And there we go. So we've got both meat and some vegetables here. Now, in terms of vegetables, there are tons in the game. There's potatoes, there's corn, there's berries, there's agave, there's all sorts of stuff. Corn and berries, you don't get any negative mood from eating. So it's great. You can just harvest a ton of stuff on the map. You know, I usually like to zoom out a little bit and go click and drag, click and drag, click and drag, and they'll start harvesting that. Corn, you have to plant. Same with the potatoes and everything. So in terms of planting, there are kind of two different soil types you can plant in. There is, if you click here and look in the bottom left-hand side, it tells you where your cursor is over. So this is soil, and this is rich soil. If you can plant in rich soil, you'll notice the fertilization is at 140%, so it definitely gives you a benefit. Normal soil also works fine. So we are going to zone. I'm just going to keep them nice and close to home for now. And you want a growing zone. And you can make it as big or as small as you want. I'm going to do a couple plots of 2 by 10. So once you have these, they all default to growing potatoes. But you can mix it up and grab all sorts of other stuff. I like to get a variety, just because. If you also have it, I would suggest getting some heal root right off the bat. That's food, that's medicine, a whole different strain of things, but important nonetheless. So you'll notice here I'm just grabbing the different types of edible plants, and I did one extra, but I'll do a second corn because, like I said, that one can be eaten raw as well. And you'll see people should start working in there. If Grub's gonna do it. What are you doing, Grub? I don't understand. So here, Bias is working on planting potatoes in here. Lumi is working on cutting the bush down and then planting a bunch of other stuff, corn. So you'll see over time, we can click on this. It says 5% grown, growth rate is at 0%, and needs light level 50%. So you can watch this, they'll keep growing. Once they fill up, you can harvest them. They'll be taken inside. They can then eat them raw. If they eat potatoes and things raw, it will give them a negative mood modifier, like I mentioned earlier. So corn and berries only if you want to be raw. So we've got corpses and we've got some raw food. What's next? Well, we need some production equipment. First off, we'll talk about the corpses. In order to get the corpses into something useful, you need a butcher's table. So we'll stick a butcher's table there, zip through the night, and then somebody will build it in the morning. And the butcher's table is where we set up bills for these guys to be slaughtered and turned into actual meat that can be used. We will also need something to cook with. Now we've got both electric and fueled stove. I won't go with the electric right now because we have not talked anything about power. That will be coming up in our next video. So we're just going to build a fueled stove, and I'm going to toss it right there. So it's nice and close by. Might be a little bit closer than I need, but we'll see what people will do. Come on, guys. So Bias is starting to work on this. Eating twice in a row, you fat ass. Fat ass. So, butcher's table is done. We can now add a bill here, and we can butcher creature. And we'll just talk about butchering creature because we're not going to talk about animals. And there we go. He did it once, and it got us the hair into hair leather and some hair meat. Beautiful. Now, with this bill, I'm actually going to change this in Do Forever. So whenever there's a corpse, somebody will come here and butcher it up. Easy enough. Easy enough. And now our cook stove is done. So you see he is butchering again. All nicely. So now we need to start figuring out our stove to actually turn this into something that will be more beneficial to us. So we can add meals here, and there's 3 different kinds of meals. Simple meals don't give you any mood benefit, and they take 10 of any sort of food, whether it's berries or meat or whatever. Fine meals will give you a +5 to your mood, but they take 5 vegetables and 5 meat. So you got to have both vegetables and meat in order for these ones to work. And then lavish meal gives you +10, and I believe it's 10 of each. I don't know. I haven't cooked a lavish meal in a while. So what I like to do is say cook a simple meal. And instead of do X number of times, because then they'll just stop after a time, I like to say do until you have X. And maybe let's set this at 15 to start with. So they will just keep cooking until we have 15 stored in one of our stockpiles. I will also add a bill to cook fine meal. Oh, I don't have cooking 6. Damn it. So we'll get there eventually. But I like to do the same thing here. Do until you have X and however many you want stored. Then you can always come in as your colony grows and just keep upping these higher and higher. You can also prioritize which one you want to be first. I always like fine meal first just because of the mood boost. And if it doesn't have enough vegetables or meat to build it, it'll just keep going down to the simple meal, which is nice. So we've got both of those going. And we'll see what we got here. Come on, somebody fill the fuel and start cooking some things. I want somebody to cook. Let's make sure I've got people that can cook. That might change things a bit. Come on, guys. Okay. Lumi, prioritize refueling. Okay, so now you can see here she is cooking. And each time she cooks, she'll then put a simple meal away. So we've got 2 simple meals going there. So that is a way to get your food production going. We've got the wild berries, we've got the grown plants, we've got the animals you can hunt. You can also then tame them and slaughter them. So get your own little farm going, and then the cooking process to turn them into simple meals and fine meals and that sort of thing. So that's all you need. This is a way to get, I have a supply of food. Now you always need to be on the lookout for things such as blights that will damage you or destroy a bunch of your crops. But getting some crops going, having some animals that can be hunted, boom, you're done. This is a self-sustaining, well, not self-sustaining, but a way to sustain yourself with the food that you've got. We will go on a little bit further. Once we have some power, we can beef this up a little bit. But that's it, guys. You can do food. So if you enjoyed this, don't forget to smash that like button. If you have some comments about it, want to have some tips and tricks that you want to share with others, or that I didn't quite do correctly, throw it down in the comments below. If anybody knows what the freaking lavish meal takes, throw it down below because I felt like an idiot for not knowing that. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for updates of when our new content goes live. And you can check us out on your favorite social media: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Tumblr, Reddit, Vote, Instagram, all those fun places. We've also just started a Patreon if you want to throw some support our way. We would love it. There's some neat little rewards for you on there if you do support us. Sadie's putting some exclusive video content together for you, which is freaking awesome. He did an amazing job. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching, guys. We hope to see you all in the next video. Bye. And you're able to slaughter them for meat if you need. You can set up some very cool farming operations that way. There are also wild animals around, which you have two options. You can tame to then make them part of your farm. Long-term sustainability. If you want to see those, there are some links on screen for you. But food! Food. There are a couple of sources of food in this game. There's basically vegetables. Start on your Rimworld. This is a continuation of our series. We've done two, one about selecting colonists and one about building your first shelter. Kind of the first two things you need to do to get ready. So now we're going on to some of the more important things for long. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another BJ & Co. Rimworld guide video for you. Today we are back and we're going to show you a little bit about food, because you don't want to starve when you're and meat. And then prepared meals, which we can go through as well. So with meat you can get from animals on the map. There are some you can tame animals and keep them, and then